Well, it took a little while, but games media is finally covering what Ubisoft did with that reenactment group's flag over in Japan and how they pretty much lifted that banner straight up and used it in the game. They got busted a while ago, actually, and nobody covered it. Finally, at least as you can see, the latest was 3 days ago. They're finally talking about it. What's interesting is how, unless you push them to talk about this kind of stuff, they're completely ignoring it when it comes to Assassin's Creed Shadows. You have a lot of voices in Japan that are being completely ignored by some of the biggest activists out there. Usually, they're always looking out for the best interests of people, right? They're very virtuous, but when it comes to the people in Japan and what they're saying about Assassin's Creed Shadows, including a now politician over in Japan, he's calling the game cultural theft, and none of the games outlets are covering it. The damage control and shilling that they're doing for this game, and ignoring the voices of the people that the game is based on is rather interesting, because they're the first ones to come out and call people racist or sexist, and they're completely ignoring the cultural appropriation of Japan with this game. It's almost like they don't care, really. And we know why they're doing that, because it's got old Yusuke in it. Everybody in the world is a Yusuke expert now. They all know the truth. They know more about this guy than they do about anything else in Japanese history. It's funny. Really funny. They're all Yusuke experts now. And you've got these people in Japan very upset that Petition is now, I think, over 80,000 signatures, getting really damn close to 100,000 signatures. And those people are being completely ignored. And I'm just waiting now, because this is really heating up over in Japan. My channel has not a huge Japanese audience, but it's grown significantly since I started covering this game. No one is covering it. No one's talking about it. They're very upset. Large YouTubers are talking about it, and it's completely ignored by Western media. They have nothing to say this time. And I'm just waiting for them to start calling Japan xenophobic and racist. I'm just waiting for it. It's going to happen, because the louder they get, they're going to have to think of something. So they're going to start calling, I guarantee you, they're going to start calling Japanese gamers problematic and how they need to change, not realizing that once again, now they're pushing their culture on Japan, which they've been doing for a long time. Western hypocrites, these activists, always talk about how Japan needs to change. But notice they don't do that with any other country. Japan is somehow the worst, considering some of the atrocities that happen in the Middle East. Japan is the worst one, and they need to change right now. Got to get rid of those problematic Japanese values. For one, they don't like the entertainment that they put out and how popular it's getting. They've been trying to wiggle their way into that country for a long time. So you've got this politician, Satoshi Hamada. He's a member of the House of Councilors, the upper house of the National Diet in Japan. One of the two members of the Independent Party to Protect the People from NHK, a party whose platform is built on opposing the government broadcasters' TV, all but mandatory licensing fees, and whose membership has fallen apart on a recent leadership dispute. Hamada has recently joined the ranks of many Japanese nationals who have found themselves outraged over the numerous historical inaccuracies presented in Ubisoft's upcoming game. By the way, I saw a post. I don't I don't know Mandarin and I don't know Japanese, but this was posted by Packer Girl over on Twitter, and there's allegations out there now that they screwed up and they're using Mandarin symbols in some of the wording on buildings instead of obviously Japanese. I don't know what you call it, kanji. I don't know what you call their language in the written form, but they're using Mandarin. Now, I didn't look too much into that, so maybe it's nothing because I don't know the differences in how they look. But given what's happened so far with this game, I wouldn't be shocked if it was true. Because they've already screwed up, they've screwed up the buildings, they're stealing banners, and now that. Oh, and also they're lying about Yusuke, who was never a samurai. He was a retainer. So on July 11th, Amada retweeted a post from a fellow Japanese ex-user summarizing the various local issues local players have had with Assassin's Creed Shadows presentation, such as how some of its buildings feature Chinese instead of Japanese architecture, or how a lowly servant can be seen sitting on the same level as Oda himself. So this is what I was talking about with the architecture. Chinese architecture instead of Japanese. And this really exposes how useless these DEI consultants are for them to get so much wrong. Because they had a consultant work with them. I believe it was a Western professor who's into some strange shit. At least the stuff that she researched was pretty gross and disgusting. I don't even want to get into it, but plenty of people have covered that lady. Alongside this retweet, the politician made a request for opinions to the general public, informing them, "We have received a consultation regarding the alteration of Japanese history by a French game company. We share the consultation below with images. We have also quoted a post that we believe points out the problem with the game in question. We would be happy to receive your comments and suggestions, including specific requests." Further, Hamada shared a list of related concerns that had already been brought to his attention, which, in addition to the above points, also made note of the possibility that Yusuke's prominence in the game's plot could lead to the misconception that he had a bigger role in Japanese history than he actually did. And yes, they are doing that. His role in this game is not reflective of what he actually did. Less than 24 hours, Hamada shared an update writing, "Thank you for your many comments about the new Assassin's Creed series of games set in Japan. In relation to the above, we received a consultation from another person about cultural theft and cultural invasion regarding Yusuke, a black man who served Oda. I will share the content of the consultation with you." From here, Hamada proceeded to share 2 tweets worth of images showing feedback he had received from Japanese citizens regarding the game. And there's a whole bunch. In fact, I see comments in Japanese on my videos when I cover this, but I can't translate them in the studio. I think what I want to do is take a lot of these, because my audience has gone up. Like, the people that watch my content from Japan has grown since this game came out, or since the news for this game came out. What I'd like to do is go and translate them and maybe show those in a video, because I think what they have to say is important. And it's wild to me. It's still wild to me that they're being completely ignored and brushed off, and none of these outlets are giving them any spotlight. In fact, most of these outlets are acting like there's nothing wrong with this game. If it had been any other country, they'd be jumping up and down, going crazy, throwing things, punching holes in their drywall. Because never forget how they treated Ghost of Tsushima and the developers of that game, who did a much better job compared to these clowns working on this game. And they treated them like shit. They tried to destroy them, discredit them, make them look like fools. And for this game, it's all good. A white woman wrote this game, and they have nothing to say about it. They don't care. But you had a group of white men who developed Ghost of Tsushima, and that was a major problem, but this isn't. You had that game, which was a love letter to a genre in Japan, Japanese films, and got a lot of things right, but it was problematic. And they were trying to say the game was racist because of how it treated the Mongols and all kinds of disingenuous bullshit. This game gets actual historical facts wrong, architecture wrong, allegations that they're using Mandarin, not a peep, not one word. And they had to be pushed to cover that stealing of the banner thing. They didn't give a shit about it. And the only reason they covered it is because YouTubers started covering it, and they were looking stupid for not pushing that story. They should be ashamed of themselves. What kind of journalism is this? Anyway, I love that now you have politicians stepping up. The people aren't being quiet. They started that petition. You've got big YouTubers, Japanese YouTubers talking about it. There's one guy that just put out a video the other day. It's all in Japanese, but there's now, AI subtitles. So I'm going to probably sit down and watch that video next and see what he's got to say, because they should be listened to. For the longest time, games media has been very, very shitty to Japanese games and developers. And no one points it out. They're all hypocrites. The most virtuous, woke people in the industry. All of them joke. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about all this. I'd like to hear from you. Also, if you would please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.